Lesson 2 is on polynomials, so to have a good foundation here will help you out for this unit. It's a pretty long unit, so make sure you understand the basics first. So what a polynomial is it can be a monomial or a sum of monomials. A monomial is just one term. So when you see 5x by itself, that's a monomial. If you saw 3x squared by itself, that's also a monomial. So looking here at the examples, you have a... Okay, so now we're going to move on to polynomials. Polynomials are basically terms being put together, and those terms are called monomials. Think mono means one, so if you see one term like x squared, or one term like 5x, or something like y, those are all monomials. They are one term. When you put two monomials together, it becomes a binomial. When you put three terms together, it becomes a trinomial. So let's look at the little basics of how you label them. Here's a polynomial. I would write it down and label it. So the constant term is going to be the number. There's not always a constant term, but it doesn't have a variable next to it. The leading coefficient is the number that's in front of the variable that has the highest degree. And the highest degree here is a 3. So the leading coefficient, or LC, is equal to 2 because it's in front of the highest degree. The degree of this polynomial is the highest number you see in the power, which is 3. And the constant term is the number with no variable. We'll do a couple examples together, but first we need to be able to write them in standard form. So this problem says write it in standard form. Standard form puts the highest power first, so I would put the term x to the third first, but don't forget the negative in front. The next highest power would be 15x, because the power of x is 1. And the last one would be the constant term. So this is the standard form. To name this polynomial, remember we had monomial, binomial, and trinomial. There are 3 terms here, so we would call it a trinomial. The degree of this polynomial is equal to the highest power we see, 3. The leading coefficient of this polynomial is equal to the number in front of the highest power, the first term, so -1. And that's it for this problem. Try these on your own and then unpause the video to check your answer. So hopefully you checked your answers. This here's a monomial, there's 1 term. Trinomial because there's 3 terms. Binomial because there's 2 terms. The second 2 we had to rewrite in order from highest power to lowest so that we can name its degree. The degree of the first one is 4 because 4 is in the exponent. The leading coefficient, the number in front, is -3. Leading coefficient here is 5, and the degree is 2. Degree here is 5, and the leading coefficient is 1. Now to practice subtracting, adding and subtracting polynomials. When you add and subtract these, it's really the matching game, and you add the numbers in front. So anytime you see a plus sign or a minus sign in between, you want to just combine the like terms. For plus signs, it's the easiest because you can basically ignore all parentheses and just combine them. So matching game, what I mean by that is see a cube term, then match it with the cube term. There's 1x cubed here, 2x cubed here. That's a total of 3x cubed. Go to the next like term. -5x squared matches with 2x squared. That totals to -3x squared. Sometimes things don't have matches, like this x. I would just write it as x. or this -1 also doesn't have a match, so I leave it as -1. And that's my final answer. Same thing for the next one. If you want, you can pause and try it on your own. 3x squared plus x squared is 4x squared. X plus 4x is 5x. -6 plus 10 is plus 4. And that's it. Just be careful with just making careless errors. Put it in your calculator if you need to check a sum. The difference is a little different. It requires you to distribute the negative in between, which means make every sign in the parentheses opposite. The first set of parentheses stays the same. There's no negative in front. Second one becomes the opposite, positive 2n squared minus 2n plus 4. And then you do the matching game again. 4n squared plus 2n squared is 6n squared. 5 and 4 is 9, but I'm going to put it out here because I still have this term, -2n, that should go in the middle. Next problem, distribute that negative. Rewrite the first part. Make everything in the second opposite, -3x squared, positive x, and positive 8. Find your matches. 4x squared matches with -3x squared. That totals to 1x squared. -3x and x becomes -2x, and 5 and 8 become positive 13. Try these 4 on your own, so pause and check your. All right, so just to double check your work, small key things. When you guys combined over here, nothing combined with the 3k squared, so I just moved it to the front because it's the highest power. And then the -k, and I combined the 5 and the 6. Everything else was pretty easygoing, hopefully, for you. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, FOIL method. So sometimes we're going to multiply these polynomials. We're not adding them anymore. We're doing multiplication. So FOIL is a method you can use. I'm going to show you my method, and you can refer back to this. You can pause and write this method down if you prefer it. But I'm just going to show you with arrows. When you multiply two binomials, so let's start here with A, x plus 2 times x plus 5. You start with the first guy you see, the x, and you distribute it twice to the next group. And you write down what they equal. So x times x is x to the power of 2. X times 5 is 5x. Then you distribute the second guy to the next group. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. I combine my like terms, which is 5x and 2x, and they add to 7x. And that's my final answer. Let's do that method one more time. Pause if you need a review. We have x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 4. Careful not to start adding these. There's no addition or subtraction symbol in between. So again, we FOIL or multiply. X times x is x squared. X times -4 is -4x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -4 is -12. The like terms in the middle add up to -1x. You don't have to write the 1. You're going to need to do it a couple times to get used to it, and that is A-OK. Sometimes it will say use the distributive property because that's really what it is twice. You're going to do it with the first term and then the second term. So y times y is y squared. Y times 1 is y. 4 times y is 4y. and 4 times 1 is 4. Combine your like terms and circle your final answer. I would like you to try 2 and 3 on your own. I'm going to skip to 4 real quick. Don't worry about the instructions that say use a table. We're going to go through this the same way. R times 2r. Think of it as 1 times 2 is 2. R times r is r squared. R times negative 1 is negative r. Negative 5 times 2r is negative 10r. And negative 5 times negative 1 is a positive 5. Combine your like terms and circle your final answer. Try number 2 and 3, so pause the video and try them on your own. And here are your final answers. I'm going to show you one more challenging one, and you guys can try 2. Let's actually do B together. You can try A as well if you have time. So 2x times 3x is 6x, and then since there's 2 of the x's being multiplied, it's squared. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. 1 times 3x is positive 3x. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Like terms, 6x minus 7x minus 5 is your final answer there. This one's a little weird because it has a trinomial in it, but it's the same exact thing. You take the first person in the first group and you distribute it to all of the terms in the next group. So x times x squared, since now there's 3 of them, it's x cubed. X times 3x, or negative 3x, is negative 3, 2 of the x's, squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. Then you do the next part. 5 times x squared is plus 5x squared. 5 times negative 3x is negative 15x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And now combine your like terms. There is only one x cubed, so I leave it as is. There's a negative 3x squared and a 5x squared. So I'm going to bring this down. These two become plus 2x squared. Negative 2x minus 15x is negative 17x. And negative 10 is left out. All right, that's the end of this video, guys.